Hello, viewers. How are you all doing today? This is your host, Seema. I'm sure most of you would have remembered I used to run my show during COVID times. And with a lot of public demand, I thought let me start it once again for you all. Before I dive into the topic for today, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. So before I start, welcome to my talk show, Smile with Seema, Season 2, Episode 1. Today's topic is very, very interesting. It's very challenging, demanding, draining, and yet it can give you loads and loads of happiness. I'm talking about parenthood. Parenthood doesn't have a perfect formula. Parenthood is all about trial and error. And like they say, raising a child is like raising the entire village. Don't you all agree with me? And I'm sure most of you, like me, would have experienced parenthood at some point in your lives. So, joining in with us today is Kaushik from Mumbai, Mickey from Korea, Nirvika from Melbourne. How are you all guys doing today? Welcome to my show.
Thank you, Seema, for having me.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you. Same here.
So, Kaushik, can you say a few words about yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So, my name is Kaushik, and I was born up in the hills in Shimla and started my basic education there, and then moved to Delhi because my dad got transferred there in a government job, and then finished my schooling there and went to Marine College to pursue my university studies, and then went out to sea as a merchant navy engineer, and with a few years doing that, decided to step ashore in the decarbonization and digitalization space, but associated with the maritime industry. Well, along the way, got married to my beautiful wife, and then had two lovely children, and I'm so glad to be part of this conversation so many years down the line. So that's a bit about me. Thank you, Seema, and all the best to your season 2. And thanks for getting this very, very important show back on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much about introducing about yourself, and it's my pleasure to have all of you on board. It's an honor, actually. Now, Vicky, can you say a few words to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. First, I just want to check. Can you guys hear me all fine?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Mickey. I'm currently in South Korea. I'm doing a working holiday, and I currently teach English to elementary school kids, and I'm absolutely loving my time here. In Australia, I have a degree in biochemistry, and I worked in a few different jobs back home. I did work in a lab and then also in the mines. So I've got a bit of different job experiences, and I'm just trying to cruise through life with the different experiences. And I'm really happy to be here today and to share my childhood journey, which is something not everyone gets to do. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Wow. Wonderful introduction. Now I come to Nirvika. Can you say a few words to our viewers?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Nirvika, and I just completed my final semester of my undergraduate degree in the Bachelor's of Arts, and I did a major in psychology and minoring in media and communications. And yeah, so just finished my uni life, and it's been a great journey. And now I am aspiring to be a marketing specialist. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. And yeah, I'm really excited to be on a talk show today because I remember season one was such a hit, and I'm really, really looking forward for season two and what that entails. And I'm really excited for today's episode. Thank you.
Excellent. Great. So aren't we all excited? So let's go to the question answer round. So let me begin with Kaushik. This question goes to you is what is the biggest challenge of parenthood in your life?
Okay, yes, thanks for that question. Although it just seems like a very uh, you know small question with one sentence, but it
Hmm.
really embodies a whole lot of emotions and whole lot of sort of uh, nostalgic moments in my and our lives, right? So to come back to answer your query, so what was or what would be the biggest challenge of like parenthood? I would say the support system which we have during uh, when a newborn child like comes in, everything is really topsy turvy in the household. So in my opinion, one big challenge is if you do not have a proper support system in place, and then to bring in the child, the baby, and then to raise that child without a proper support is something very, very challenging, in my opinion. So in my case, or in our case here, we unfortunately did not have your mother. I mean, my mother-in-law uh, had passed away, unfortunately, before our first child was born. And so that in itself put a lot of pressure during, the childbirth and subsequent dealings with the newborn, like coming in, and it's the support system. It's the emotion, it's not only the physical part of it, and that is like one aspect of it. It's how the mother and the other family members go through the emotional change as well. Of course, you are joyous, yeah, you have joys, but at the same time, you are coping with the emotional outbursts. And if you don't have the proper support system, and that's where I'm coming from, if you don't have that proper support system in place, and not everybody is lucky enough to have that, but at least in our case, we were not that fortunate. But I know it took a lot from us to put in our support system in place, and we were fortunate. At least we had my parents there for support. Our children were born in Delhi, and we were in Delhi at that time. Although I was, at least for our firstborn, I was touring for close to 6 months a year. And uh, I mean, the job like demanded that, right? And you had to stay back and take care of
Hmm.
the newborn child, and then obviously the other things had to be like taking care of the entire household. So that was, of course, a challenge. Yeah. And then we did realize that other sort of like members of your family could not also fully support, for whatever reason. They also could not like support this endeavor, right? We were staying, of course, in different cities, but nonetheless, we could not get that support, which added that extra burden on parenthood. Yeah. But despite all that, I'm sure, well, we did our best under the circumstances, right? And I'm very fortunate that we have the results in front of us. So I guess nothing to complain. And looking back, I'm so happy and fortunate to be here, at least talking about it with you all. Thank you.
Amazing. I mean, when you were saying these things, I was reliving those moments, and we know what challenges we face. But anyways, thank you so much for bringing back those hard memories, hardship memories. So thank you for that. Anyways, coming to you, Mickey, this question goes to yours. How important it is to have a great relationship with parents, most of with your parents.
Oh, thank you for the question. I think
Pleasure.
having a relationship, sorry, having a good relationship with your parents will be, if not, but one of the most important things in your life, because parents are the one who bring you into this world. Parents are the one who raise you. Parents are also the one who know you in and out. So what, having a good relationship with them is so important. And the thing is, a lot of the times, as parents or even as children, we can get frustrated with each other, of course, because there's so much happening all the time. But I think the most important thing is compromising with both the parties compromising. So I would say having a good relationship with your parents is extremely important for your mental health, even for your physical health. And I would also like to add that in different stages of your life, you will have different kind of relationship with your parents. Maybe in your teenage years, it will be really like aggressive or annoyed, but maybe as you get into your early 20s, it will be much more calm, stable. And of course, in the beginning, from what I remember in my early childhood, it was a lot of it was just you guys telling me what to do and what not to do. So it was just parenting and a child. So I guess that's also one type of relationship. But I would say it's definitely a roller coaster, and it's a good thing overall. So yes, having a good relationship with your parents is extremely important.
Well, thank you and brilliant, very well curated the answer. Excellent. Thank you for that. Now, coming to you, Mickey, the same question also goes to you: is how important is to have a good relationship again with your parents?
Oh yeah, sorry. I think that was for Nirvana. Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Firstly, yeah, I would just want to say I completely agree with everything my brother said. I think he actually sort of encapsulated that very well. I totally agree. I think it's one of the most important relationships in your life because they, yeah, not only have they seen you grow up from your kid, they know you like no one else does. Even though I feel like us as children we think that, oh, we have those phases that, oh, our parents don't know us, or we feel sort of distance with our parents, but actually your parents are the ones who know you the best because they bring you into this world and they've seen you in sides no one else has and in situations no one else has. And I think definitely right now as well, I think when I was sort of younger, when I met my teenage years, my relationship with my parents was a little sort of rough, as my brother said, because it was more of that authoritative parenting style. Where you guys were just mostly scolding us, or not really scolding, but sort of like no, it was more of like a demanding thing. It's like we had to listen to you. But I think as I grew older, and now that I'm in university and I'm living away from you guys, I realized that the liberty that you've given me and the liberty that I've gotten, actually, the distance just makes the heart grow fonder. And now I've really, really realized the importance of having a good relationship with your parents. And as I'm also growing older, I'm seeing around me and I'm seeing people around me, and they don't actually have a good relationship with their parents. And I thought, in fact, it was normal to have sort of a good relationship. But I'm seeing that around and I'm actually realizing how privileged and how lucky I am to have such a good and open, transparent relationship with my parents. And I think everyone should know that, this is one of the most fulfilling and wholesome relationships that you can keep building over your life. And it's one that you should be thankful for. So yeah, I think it's extremely, if not the most important relationship. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Very impressive. I really loved your answer. Thank you for that. So coming back to you, Kaushik, with the second question is, what's one thing you are most thankful for? I mean, in your life, so to say.
Yeah, so I mean, if I have to look at in terms of parenthood, I mean, the thankful part, since this episode is concerning parenthood, so I would sort of give this answer in terms of the one fortunate thing about our parenthood is, when you see your children through the formative years, and then you see them as young adults, and then you see them take wise decisions, and then they uh, give you advice uh, on stuff which we thought that, oh, they were still learning. So
Hmm.
that's something which I find very, very fulfilling, to hear from our children when they talk about very, very sensible things. And the fact, and please remember, I think both our children talked about it, that we were during their when they were younger, we used to like discipline them a lot, and I completely agree. I mean, it was instructional based, and either my way or highway type of an instruction. And we honestly did not have a benchmark to compare ourselves with, and we were doing a lot of it only by ourselves, by trial and error, as you have said, and we did not know whether this is the right thing or not. But at that time, it felt right. Honestly, we did everything from what we felt was good for the family and for the child, because we wanted them to be, firstly, very good human beings, right? And then you just like teach them right from wrong, and then let them decide what is that.
Hmm.
So, to
Very
answer your query, the fortunate part about that is I see that the our children have made us proud, and that's the fortunate part. The one thing which I'm fortunate about is that. Yeah, so thank you.
lovely, lovely, splendid. I couldn't agree more than this. Absolutely, you said the right things, and I also totally agree. So thank you for that. So, well, Mickey, coming to the question, the second question for you is, how was your relationship with your parents in your growing up years?
I think that's a really good question. So I have
Thank
two
you.
answers for this question. The first
Sure.
answer is short, and it's a one word answer. So my relationship in my growing up years with my parents was rough. That's the short answer. But the long answer and the more detailed one is that I understand I was the first child and my parents were doing this for the first time. So, as my father mentioned, that they didn't quite have a benchmark. So, I can understand why it was so hard for them to know what's right or what's wrong. And I mean, when I was young, I would always think that, oh, is everything I'm doing wrong, or is there nothing I can do right? Because whatever I do, I feel like I'm scolded. But now it's like when I look back to my childhood, I realize that, oh, actually my parents were right, because there's so many things as a child you think it's correct, but then you look back and you know that it's of course not right. So obviously my parents had to scold me when required and tell me what's right, what's wrong. It's how you can build value, and if you don't do self-reflection, you're never going to build values. So I think that was during, even though I had a rough childhood, and when I say rough, I mean rough emotionally for me, not like physical or anything, but it was mostly just like an emotional roughness, thinking that I was always wrong. But of course, as I said earlier, when I did some self-reflection, I realized that my parents were only looking out for the best in me, and they only want the best in their children. And I'm sure they can see that now. So yeah, that's my answer.
Amazing. I loved your answer. I can't believe it's so well curated. Thank you for that. Well, now last but Nirvika, this question, same question comes to you is, how was your experience with growing up in your years? The same question goes to you. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear
Hello?
me? Nirvika? Yeah, can
Uh,
you, yeah. How was your experience with your parents growing up during your your growing up years?
Yeah, me. I got a question. Yeah. Um. So for me, since I was the second child, I think definitely, yeah, my relationship with my parents growing up was difficult. I would just like to.
Yeah, yeah.
Nivika, you're not very clear. You're breaking off. Can you start that again, please?
Yeah, can't hear. It's coming in bits and pieces.
Try again. Could be a network issue.
Is it okay now?
Yeah,
Yes.
start again.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just. Is anyone able to hear me okay now?
Now there's a lot of echo. Seems some echo with her connection.
Say again. Start again.
Yeah. How about right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, say
Please,
Can you
something
hear me
else.
now?
yeah.
Uh,
Should I ask?
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Should
able
I
to hear me now?
want me to ask you
Yes.
the question again?
And just no. I
No, she
understood.
knows the question.
Can you
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, as I was just saying, yeah, I feel like growing up, it was definitely hard for me. But I would just like to say that as a kid as well, I was not, as compared to my brother, I think I was not a kid with an easy temperament at all. I was a little bit stubborn, and I think basically I just wasn't an easy kid to handle. And especially, I would have to say hats off to my parents for even handling a kid like me, because I didn't realize it when I was younger. I used to always think, oh, why my parents always scolding me, or why, what, yeah, same like as my brother said, like, have I always been doing something wrong? But in fact, I think as I grew up, I reflected and I retrospected, and I realized that, oh, because of the kid that I was, the personality type that I was, and the, my temperament was not easy in what way, shape, or form. So I think with my type of personality, what my parents had to do was actually needed for me to grow up into the person that I am right now. And I think, it was harsh at that time, but right now looking back, I'm so grateful that they were how they were, even though it was harsh, it was rough, it was not, there was too many fights, but I think it was something that was needed, it was something that was required. And I'm just, yeah, I have no vengeance, or no resentments or anything. And I think um everything that happened for a reason, and I'm glad that the way that there was, like, the discipline, the instructional, I think that was all needed for me to actually realize, and fix my mistakes as a journey of me growing up and is in my developmental trajectory. So yeah, that's my answer.
Wow. How impressive. Very well said. Yep.
Very,
So, guys,
very nicely put.
yes. Last but not the least, this is an open mic question, and anybody can go for it. The question is a bit long. You can take your time to answer. So it goes like this: what are some trends or dangerous parenting practices that parents should be aware of due to social media exposure? So, anybody want to start? Go ahead. Please go ahead, Mickey.
Okay, so as a teacher who works with elementary school kids, I have seen a lot of the parents coming to drop their kids off at our school, and also a lot of them come and actually spend time at our school because a lot of our students have siblings. So they will come and spend pretty much a few hours with their kids. So, a dangerous tactic that I have observed parents doing is comparing their kids to other kids. So, a lot of the times there would be like a family, and then the mother or father would say, hey, like, look, that family has an iPhone, or they've got two iPads, I think we should get one. Or look, that family has like 5 pairs of blue socks, we need to get 5 more pairs. So from what I can see, it's like this constant comparison of what other people have, and then you compare your kids to the other kids, which I completely disagree with, because I don't see it as a competition. Every child is different, every family is different, every person is different. So I think comparing your kids from a very young age to other families, to other people, is a very harmful thing to do for your child and for yourself as well. But as an adult, as a parent, you should know to not compare your kids to other kids, because it can leave um, scars on your child, because they might feel insecure growing up, or they might also feel like they are not as good as other people, which is not great, because again, this is not a competition. We're all here to do our own things, and I hope that this whole comparison thing can stop. And I do try my best as a teacher to um, explain this concept to everyone. But yeah, that's what I think is quite harmful these days.
Very well said. I totally agree. Anybody else wants to
Yeah.
add?
So can I
Friend?
can I Yeah, sure. I'll just add something which Mickey said, and I completely agree. And at least I have made a very conscious decision of not to compare not only our children, but not to compare anyone to anybody basis what they see on social media, and this directly answers your question, because we get very quickly influenced by what we see on the media and what media spurts out every second now. And it has, although it's supposed to be something positive, because then you can do a lot already with the internet and with AI and with other stuff. However, the ills are far damaging, in my opinion, because then we see people are comparing what other people are doing, and then under peer pressure, they quickly succumb to the mental pressure, and most of the times the results are disastrous. So, yeah, I believe the ills of the social media in current times is far more damaging than the upside. That's my single point take. Thank you.
Yes, very true. I mean, I also agree to it. It got more of disadvantages than advantages. So, Nirvika, do you also want to add something from your end to
Yes. Oh, yeah.
this?
I would like to make sure. Can you hear me again?
Yes, you're
Okay. Yeah. I firstly completely agree with what my father and my brother said. I think you guys actually summed that up pretty well. And I think the damages of social media and just comparing your children like to other children is not the best thing. But what I was gonna say was, I think I've noticed that nowadays, especially the newest generation, Gen Alpha, I think, what we call the iPad kids. Every single kid has now an iPad. You don't see anyone going out to play. In fact, I remember I went back to my hometown and I went back to where I used to go down and play, and the playground's completely empty because all these kids are just glued to their phone. And I just know it's because they've just been given these gadgets from such a young age. And I think this is just now it's become a part of their routine. It's their habit. Now, after school, the first thing is not to go down and play, it's to go and play video games on your iPad. And I think that is so damaging. And I think that's a very big mistake that parents make, especially newer parents now, because like they probably think the headache of actually playing with the child and taking out time for the child is something that's it's just a strenuous task for them. And I think every parent nowadays just wants the easy way out, and it's never easy. But then they might think that the easy way out is giving a child an iPad and it's going to make them happy, but actually it has long lasting effects on them, not just on their act, not just on their physical brain chemistry, but just on also on their social skills. And I think a lot of their cognition, their social skills, and just like them maturing and developing as a person. So I think, and I don't know, I think in the next few generations, I think it's going to get, in fact, even worse. So I think that's something parents, newer parents, should watch out for. Um, just to give kids time, because from my experience, I remember our parents really invested a lot of time telling us stories. I still remember the stories my dad and my mom used to tell me growing up. And it's like those human connections, those human interactions are what I think lacks in this generation because of the influences, and yeah, the influences of social media. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I also absolutely agree because, in the beginning, like I said, it's very challenging. Parenting is very, very challenging, draining, time consuming. So, what happens these days, the parents don't want to give that much of energy into parenting. They have kids, of course, but then they have so many other options that they can delegate it, say to
Mm,
daycare center, have a nanny, blah blah blah. In our times, the limitations were less, and of course, it was a conscious effort as well. Being a parent, like mom or dad, we really wanted to focus our entire energy centering on the kids because we knew it's like investment. It's a long-lasting investment. It's not for that time. It's not a temporary thing. This is something where it's going to be helpful for life. So that's
mm,
what is very important. It
mm.
is very challenging parenting, but yeah, of course, everybody has their own ways of
I
parenting. I mean,
also,
yeah.
I'm sorry, just one more thing. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is that I think the newer parents right now, I think they just don't understand how detrimental the actual influences of social media on kids are. I think they think this is the easy way out, but overlooking all of this, yeah, they just don't realize how much is going to harm their child in the long term. I just think that's what it is, in my opinion. Yeah.
So great. So we are coming almost into our show, and thank you so much, Kaushik, for tuning in. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Nirvika, and you both more so. Both have joined from different time zones, and I really appreciate your time. And all the very best for your future endeavors. All God bless you both. So, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed hosting it for you all. And I'm sure you can take away with so many benefits and so many experiences from this talk show. And I'm looking forward to host another show very, very soon for you all. So before that, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and also do not forget to smile with Seema. Stay bilingual, take good care of yourself, stay happy, stay positive. धन्यवाद.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.